Well, okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Welcome to Back to Basics, Focus on Flow, where we're going to look at flow metrics in Jira software, Jira Align, and Enterprise Insights. I'm Dean McNeil, coming to you live from Los Angeles, and I'm happy to join you. Before we get into flow metrics, let's take a look back to where they began. The Toyota production system, developed by Taiichi Ono and Eiji Toyota between 1948 and 1975, inspired lean manufacturing in the US. One aspect of TPS is Kanban, meaning signboard, which Ono created to support pull production and improve efficiency. Here's a picture of the Kanban storage area at the Motomachi plant from back in the day. Kanban has spread worldwide as a lean, agile method for just-in-time delivery at a sustainable pace. In this approach, knowledge workers pull work from a queue, and status from to-do to done is displayed for all team members to view. There are 4 key Kanban principles. Visualize the workflow, limit work in progress, measure and optimize the flow, and continuously improve. From the flow of work, let's now turn to the flow of value. Simply put, a value stream is the sequence of steps used to deliver value to the customer. It includes the whole sequence from concept or customer order to the delivery of value and receipt of cash. It contains the people who do the work, the systems, and the flow of information and materials. Value streams help identify the flow of value and recognize the non-value added waste, or muda in Japanese. What is now known as value stream mapping, thanks to the 1998 Learning to See workbook by Shook and Rother, has its origins in Toyota's materials and information flow analysis, which looks at the timeline from customer order to receipt of cash, and then shortens the timeline by reducing waste. The term value stream itself was introduced in the 1996 book by Womack and Jones, Lean Thinking. Speaking of which, Womack and Jones discuss 5 lean principles in that book. Specify value, which can be defined only by the ultimate customer. Identify the value stream, that is, all the actions needed to bring a product to the customer. Make those value-creating steps flow. Let the customer pull the product from you. So you sell one, you make one. And lastly, pursue perfection. There's no end to the process of reducing time, space, cost, and mistakes. Which brings us to measuring flow. Flow metrics measure how efficiently an organization delivers value. The Scaled Agile framework suggests 6 flow metrics based on Mick Kirsten's flow framework. 3 of them can be measured at the team, program, and portfolio levels using Jira software, Jira Align, and Enterprise Insights. These are flow velocity, flow time, and flow load, otherwise known as throughput, lead time, and work in progress. 3 more can be measured at the program level in Jira Align and Enterprise Insights. They are flow efficiency, the ratio of active time to flow time, flow predictability, which is planned versus actual value delivered, And lastly, flow distribution, the amount of each type of work in the flow over time. Let's start by reviewing flow visualizations available in Jira software. Aside from Scrum and Kanban boards in Jira, there are useful reports for viewing flow, including the cumulative flow diagram. It shows the various statuses that work items flow through, from to do to done. A widening of the band for any status indicates a potential bottleneck. The diagram is also useful for measuring the flow. Here we define cycle time as the time spent working on items and measure it along the x-axis from to do to done. Note that this is not the same as the broader lead time we'll discuss when measuring an entire value stream. And also note there's wide variation in the definitions of lead and cycle time. So it's important for your organization to define them for your context and reach a common understanding so that everyone speaks the same language. Work in progress is measured from to do to done along the y-axis. And lastly, we can get a sense of our throughput by dividing work in progress by cycle time. Here we have 6 items in progress and a cycle time of 4 days, so our throughput is 1.5 items per day. There are marketplace apps for Jira that could automatically calculate this for you. Here's an example control chart in Jira, configured to show cycle time as time spent working on items. We see that the team's productivity is consistent, indicated by a rolling average blue line tracking close to the average red line. There are outliers on Tuesday the 14th and Wednesday the 15th, showing cycle times of 7 and 10 days, respectively, versus the 2-day average. Performance is becoming more predictable, evidenced by the narrowing shaded blue band indicating standard deviation. Before we see some visualizations in Jira Align, let's take a commercial break and talk a bit about Valiantys, the company that I work for. We are the #1 Atlassian Platinum solution partner globally. We're available to support you anywhere in the world on any product in the Atlassian ecosystem, on any platform, whether it's cloud, private cloud, or data center. We not only implement and support Atlassian solutions, but we also conduct training, webinars like this one, workshops, including value stream identification and mapping workshops, which are applicable to the subject at hand. And we also have a team of custom solution developers that could tackle any and all problems or challenges that you may have in your organization that may, for example, require pulling in information from a variety of sources, not just Atlassian tools. You'll note in the webinar chat that we have a link to our training and our YouTube channel that my colleague Addie has just added. What else could we say in this commercial break? Well, there's a lot of data points here you could take a look at about Valiantys. Our specializations, our 24/7 coverage. We also have managed services, speaking of 24/7, so that way we could, take things off of your plate and help you run your systems that power your business so that you could focus on what matters. Focus on your value delivery, your customers, etc. We're very customer centric ourselves, committed to value. And with our curiosity, we are ready to dig into, again, any and all challenges to support you. So next, let's take a look at some flow metrics in Jira Align. Going to go ahead and bring it up here. So what we're starting with here is a portfolio level Kanban. You would access it by going to the sidebar, clicking on backlog, and then the Kanban value stream view, as you can see right here in the top right. So this is where you can see, in this case, portfolio epics flow through each state in the value stream. In this case, it would be the portfolio epic flow. Each card shows the total time spent in a given step and the total time spent in the overall flow or value stream. Each column of the board may have WIP limits or exit criteria, as you can see here. You could toggle on the exit criteria, toggle off. You could also hide any columns you don't want to see, or collapse them rather, like this one. So now I'm focused on from funnel to done, just like that. Next, we're going to take a look at work in progress by state. I'll just go ahead and click over to it here, or by step in this case. And there's a difference, and I'll come to that. So first, we're looking at progress by step. You could hover over any of these portfolio epics, also known as initiatives. Again, get clear on the terminology for your organization, just as recommended earlier about things like lead time and cycle time. Decide what you'll call it. Is it a portfolio epic or an initiative, or in this case, a portfolio epic parentheses initiative? You could hover over any of these and show the underlying connected work items, and then click on any item for more details. Okay. So next, we'll take a look at the state view. So aside from process flow steps or value stream steps, if you will, you could look at work in progress by state. In this case, not started, in progress, and done. Similar concept here. Could hover over any of these, look at those underlying connected work items, click on any of them to drill down for more information. And now here's where we could also show the lean metrics that are available in both of these views. Off to the top right, both of these work in process views that I've showed you, there's lean metrics available. If you click on that, you've got various lean metrics from your work in progress to your cumulative flow, just like we saw earlier in Jira. Here we have it in Jira Align for all the different levels, from portfolio through program, which would be features, or Jira epics, and on down the line. You've got your average lead time, average cycle time, etc. Some more visualizations we could take a look at, such as the value stream cycle time. And here, when you access this report from the sidebar, you'll note that you could scroll down to see your average time in each step of that value stream flow, your value stream work in progress visualization, down the line, the cycle time control chart. We mentioned control chart earlier as well. Here you see it also in Jira Align. Speaking of Jira Align, wanted to show you and point out that we have a great way to sort of test drive Jira Align via a one-day boot camp. It covers a variety of topics, how Jira and Jira Align are connected, the enterprise functionality, how to organize around value into teams of teams, and to effectively plan and execute as team of teams. So that would be the program level. Covers portfolio. A lot of ground is covered in just one short day. Dependencies, risks, objectives. If you go ahead and use this QR code to access the registration and enter Val20, you will get 20% off. So I hope you enjoy that. So next up will be Enterprise Insights. So Enterprise Insights is a data warehouse built on the Azure platform that receives data from Jira Align via an ETL, or extract, transform, and load process. You would connect to Enterprise Insights from your existing BI solution to create visualizations of data from Jira Align and other sources in your enterprise data lake to support real-time decision-making. The opportunities are endless. You could create visualizations in any tool of your choice: Power BI, Tableau, etc. So if you were to do so, you could actually integrate them within Jira Align as well. So beginning like we did at the start in our portfolio Kanban, just as an example, and going to our reports section here, the way you would embed these dashboards after you create them, for example, let's go with Tableau, because that's what we're going to show you in a minute. We happen to use Tableau for those. You would then go to find your external reports, and these will be alphabetized soon in the new UI. So here's our external reports. Now, this is where you would find any of these custom dashboards that you have access to for your role. So let's go ahead and click on Valiantys Agile Intelligence here. And it's going to pull up some value stream metrics that we have created based on Jira Align data coming from Enterprise Insights, and the BI solution we happened to use in this case was Tableau. One nice thing you can do is collapse your sidebar by just hovering over it where it meets the main window in Jira Align, which is called the workspace, by the way. So that gives you a little more space to work with. So here we're looking at flow or feature load in this case, and predictability. So let's go ahead and configure the dashboard the way we want. You could select the program increments you want. I'm going to go ahead and leave all programs involved. These are team of teams. We also, and again, opportunities are endless. We created the ability here to show all features, or just those that were committed at the start of the PI, or just those that were added during the PI, which is something that we commonly see. So let's go ahead and go with committed. And here, we'll take a look at the data here. So first of all, flow load off to the left measures the total work in progress across all steps of the flow, so you can monitor over and underutilization of your value streams, which could lead to reduced productivity. That's a good thing to keep an eye on. Gray represents the backlog, and green represents features in progress. Ideally, both would be relatively stable, so we'd want to look into the spikes and investigate those, as well as the thin backlog in some areas. Predictability here, let me close that error message. Predictability here off to the right illustrates how well program teams can meet their planned objectives. We're using the ratio of committed versus delivered features over time, regardless of their size. Low or erratic predictability makes delivery commitments unrealistic and often highlights underlying problems to be investigated and resolved. That could be in your technology stack or your planning practices, things of that nature. We're using 20% plus or minus here as the upper and lower control limits to encourage effective planning. So you can see here, based on our committed features, if we hover over the orange line, for example, we'll see here that the mobile program overcommitted in PI5. They delivered about 53% of what they committed to. And then in PI4, they are back up within the control band, having delivered 84%. So perhaps there was some learning there, and they're back within the acceptable range that we defined. Okay, next, let's take a look. We have a tab here for a couple more visualizations to show you today, which is velocity and time. Okay. So again, I'm going to want to configure the report to the PIs that I want. So I'm going to remove these. And I'm also going to show reference lines in this case. So I'm going to put those on. All right. Click in there. Okay, cool. So feature velocity measures the number of features per program increment. It's also known as throughput. You can see whether program teams are accelerating, remaining consistent, or decelerating from one program increment to the next. And by the way, even the term program increment has great variation. So again, the caution to get clear on terminology. You may call it a quarterly increment at your company. You may call it now a planning interval, the new safe word from Scaled Agile Framework, et cetera. So just wanted to be clear in case there's any confusion about that. So here again, in this widget here to the left, we're looking for consistency, which means predictability. The solid orange reference line is the average for a given program, while that dotted orange line is the average across all programs. For the flow time distribution on the right, we're using a box plot of feature cycle times to see the typical range for program. So here we see, for example, that the average cycle time for mobile is nearly 75 days right here. We could click on individual items, such as this outlier here in PI3, and then drill back down into Jira Align by clicking and getting more details on that feature. So there you have it. That will conclude our demo of the flow metrics in Jira, Jira Align, and Enterprise Insights. We are now ready for some Q&A. So please put those questions, if you haven't already, into the chat in Zoom, and Addie will get those over to me. All right, and as those come in, I will point out that this is just the start on value stream information. There's so much more. We offer workshops from 2 hours to 2 days to cover value streams, flow metrics, etc. You're welcome to take a look at what is currently scheduled for training by going to valiantys.com, clicking on resources, and then training and events, and you'll see what's currently scheduled. But you could also always reach out. I will provide my contact info in a moment. And we could do custom, and we could, again, be of service in any way we can. So some questions here. How to get started with flow metrics is the recommendation. Give us a call. We'll start with, we could start with the 2-hour workshop just to get your feet wet. And so it's basically a 3-part offering we call the value series, where we get clear on what is valuable in your context, in your organization. That would be like the 2-hour workshop, what you're looking to achieve, what's most valuable. So you got clarify would be part 1. Part 2 is to discover those value flows in your organization. That would be a formal value stream identification workshop or something custom. And we do a lot of custom workshops where we combine the identification with part 3, which is your optimization, what SAFe calls value stream mapping, where you look at your active time in each activity in the flow and your wait time, and you look at your efficiency that way. And how to get the value streams set up in your tooling. One pointer I can give you is, once you discover your value streams, you identify them. And by the way, wherever there is a product or service that's of value to a customer, there's a value stream. So once you get a handle on those, you organize around those value streams. So now you have program teams, which are teams of teams, generally 5 to 12 agile teams per program. If they're organized around a value stream, that makes it easy, both from accelerating your time to market, your time to value, so customers get value faster, because that team is now focused, and you're cutting down on your external dependencies, because that team of teams has everything they need to deliver those features of value in that value stream to the customer. So one rule of thumb is keep it simple, 1 program per value stream. But if your value stream is very large and requires the work of multiple program teams, multiple agile release trains, now you're talking a solution train. And we have ways to configure all of these in the Atlassian tool set, not just in Jira Align. So again, reach out for that. And one more question. Yes, value streams cross disciplines. So if you have just your IT group and you're wondering, are there value streams in IT? Again, if you're delivering a technology product or service to a customer, in this case, it's going to most likely be internal customers. If you're an IT team, absolutely, you've got value streams there, because those customers are just internal ones. So what you do is valuable. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be an enabling platform that is provided so that development teams could now deliver the customer-facing products. And that might be, say, the API gateway, for example, as an enabling platform. That's valuable. The team or teams that build and maintain that are part of that value stream. So it's good to get clear on that value stream, where there might be any excessive wait time, inefficiencies. You might be able to remove bottlenecks, or the one constraint that is slowing things down. If you follow the theory of constraints, usually there's always going to be one primary constraint that is slowing down the flow in any given particular value stream. And it's great to get in there and analyze it and figure out, okay, now how could we optimize the flow of value in this stream? So once again, I'm going to provide contact info here. Feel free to reach out anytime via LinkedIn, reach out direct to Valiantys here. We talked about Jira Align a little bit, so you're also welcome to check out the book that Aslam Khader and I wrote, called Scaling Agile with Jira Align. And with that, you have 28 minutes back in your day, because this webinar was billed as an hour, but we usually wrap it up in well under an hour. So thank you so much for your attention and interest, and we hope to help you with your flow of value at some point if we're not already. So take care, everybody.